Thank you so much for tuning in to Awakening with Katina Love. We are a conscious channel to learn about self empowerment, the law of attraction, financial abundance, natural health, and metaphysics. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Awakening with Katina Love. Today we have a special guest, Vickie Gould.
Hi.
Hi. So, Vickie is a book coach and law of attraction practitioner, as well as what else do you do, Vickie?
Oh, goodness. Those are
So
the main
many things,
things.
right?
Yeah, I'm a book coach. I'm a law of attraction practitioner, content marketing strategist, and previously a wellness coach as a master herbalist. So, yeah, I've done a lot of things. The main thing right now is doing book coaching. But as we all know, when you're in business, a lot happens due to personal development,
Hmm.
not as much some of the other things you might think. Sometimes it's the behind the scenes stuff that helps you be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to start out by asking you about your awakening journey. What started you on your spiritual path, as well as discovering the law of attraction?
Yeah, so I don't know if I really call it an awakening, but
Hmm.
back in 2009, I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease. And during that time, life was really rough for me. I
Hmm.
was spending 16 to 18 hours in bed, and for probably 1,776 days. It was like
Wow.
3.5 years that I spent that way. And during that time, I felt so much like, life was passing me by. I was watching my children grow up by the side of my bed. My
Hmm.
son would come and ask me if I could go to his, school party, and I'd have to keep telling him no. And it just broke my heart to feel like I was really failing as a mom, as a wife, and
Hmm.
like there was no reason for me to be here, to exist on earth, because I was not really, there was no quality of life, and I wasn't contributing. I wasn't able to work. I couldn't help around the house very much. I could barely, clean the bathroom or make a full meal before I was too tired and had to go lay down.
Wow.
And there are many days that I wanted to give up.
I
Many, many
understand.
days that I thought, everybody would be better off without me. I'm a financial drain. Um, and what I realized was that illness, especially with me, chronic illness and Lyme disease, if you don't know much about it, it's like
I
having MS.
don't.
Yeah, it's like having MS, lupus, Alzheimer's, dementia, chronic fatigue, osteoarthritis, all of it all rolled up into one.
Wow.
And yeah, I don't think people realize a lot of times with Lyme disease, it exhibits differently in every person.
I
So
see.
some people may have more cognitive issues, and some people may have more muscle and joint issues. But either way, like I was saying, I just felt like there was no reason to be here anymore. And if this was the way life was going to be, for the next 40, 50 years, it was going to be a long, drawn out death. That's what I thought. The doctors told me there is no hope, and that I just need to suck it up and accept that this was what life was going to be like. And there just came a point where I was like, Vickie, you have to choose.
Right.
Are you going to be miserable and a horrible, awful, angry, bitter wretch for the rest of your life? Or are you going to decide that you get to take control of what happens in your future? And that's when I really started looking into, the mind body connection, about how my attitude really affects my body and
Yeah.
the pains and all the things that were going on in my body, and also how it affects, the healing process. And when you truly believe that you can't heal, you're not going to heal.
Right. That's so true. Self
And
belief.
yeah, exactly. And like it was like almost every day I had to say to myself, Vickie, who do you believe? Do you believe that you could get better, or do you believe this one doctor that told you to suck it up and accept that you're going to live this way? Why does he get to decide, and why does he know so much?
Right.
How many times have you heard of stories where they've been wrong? you know
Exactly. So many of them, right?
exactly. And one of the first books I read was called The Maker's Diet, And it was by a guy who had Crohn's disease, and that's not curable. Death sentence pretty much for them too,
So they say, right? So they
Exactly.
say.
And then I've heard so many stories of
Right.
people healing
Overcoming it.
themselves from that. And yeah, it's not just in the mind. It's not just that, right? Law of attraction is not just think great thoughts and Oprah's going to show on your doorstep,
Right,
so you have
right,
to do
right.
combinations. There's the law of attraction and there's the law of right action and there's the law of gestation. Like all of it works together.
It does.
But I had to first start with believing that it was possible for me to get better, which changed my attitude, which made me happier, which made me, approach things a little differently. And then I dove a little bit more into law of attraction. I can't remember. I think it was an event that I went to. And I was exposed to it for the first time. Like, wait, what is this that people are talking about? What do you mean? And something deep inside me always had believed that that was true, right?
Yeah.
That our thoughts become things, that what we put out comes back to us. All those things I thought were true, but I didn't really realize that there were all these people who believed in that. So
Yeah.
I ended up becoming a law of attraction practitioner through Joe Vitale and his company. And then I became a law of attraction wealth practitioner as well.
Awesome.
And that was how all that happened. It all came from my illness. So a lot of times I talk about my illness as a big blessing in my life because it opened up my eyes to so many things that I had told myself, you can do that later. Do it after the kids are grown. As women, as moms, that's what we do. We
Right.
put ourselves last so often.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was bitter. I was bitter because of all the missed chances in life, of all the times that I put myself last and said, oh, you can go to Paris later. You can, do such and such later. Just wait. And I thought that being a martyr was just so, I don't even know. It was just such a great thing for me to be this martyr. But nobody else was really impressed with my martyrdom. Me putting myself last, and everybody just thought, okay, that's Vickie. She's going to drop everything for me, rearrange my schedule. I was always right. I was always the one people would ask, can you do this? Of course I can do that. And I was Superwoman. I painted the walls at the church. I did nursery. I did speaker systems. Sometimes I sang something. I did everything because no matter what, I always said yes. And I rearranged the schedule. And anyways, I realized so much that now your no is so powerful and such a blessing
It
for
is,
people
isn't
when
it?
they say no.
The power of saying no. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
That is amazing. That's a very powerful story.
Thank
How
you.
long have you been a book coach?
I had been a book coach for about 3 years. And that happened because I started sharing that story of Lyme disease. And then people started coming to me because of that. And other people would see other people coming to me and they're like, well, how did you do that? And it all started out with storytelling, and I became the story marketing coach. And people started asking me then to help them with their books because then they saw that I had 2 best-selling books. And I was like, no, I don't do that.
Right, right.
No, I'm not that, I'm this. So in a way, it kind of found me. And finally, a friend of mine was smacking me, not literally, but
Yeah.
why are you turning these people away when you can actually help them? And it's right in line with what you do, which is storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And for the books that I help people with, putting their story in is just the most important part of that book. Yeah, we have stuff to teach, but you teach through those stories, and it becomes so much easier to teach, and people remember it so much better, and they connect with you in such a deeper way that it's just so much more impactful.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So I think that everybody needs a coach, whether it's a book coach, a life coach, a business coach, or whatever type of coach that is, a life purpose coach to help you discover, what your gifts are. But why do you think that everybody needs a coach?
Yeah.
Especially when they may have thought about writing a book, especially us as conscious spiritual entrepreneurs. Everybody has a book inside of them. If you've lived some life, if you become of some age, I believe even up to the age of 18 or even younger. Some kids have books inside of them, because they've experienced enough life, enough things, enough contrast, or enough experiences to be able to help somebody. So
Hmm.
why do you feel that we as spiritual women, entrepreneurs, why do you feel that we need a book coach or a coach in general?
Yeah, well, in general, I think that we are so blind to our own stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's why we need a coach. Um, as much as the answers are within us, sometimes we don't know how to dig enough to get
Mhm.
to those answers. And sometimes we deny those answers, or we make up stories about those answers.
I know, right?
Yeah. And with the book coaching, people usually say, I have a book inside me, like you said, right? I have a book inside me. I have a story I really want to share. I didn't go through this for nothing. I just want to help people. And they're always like, if I can just help one person. And I work with such heart-centered people that it always just warms my heart. It's like I get to do the best job in the world because it's the ripple effect that I get.
Yeah.
But through writing the book, so many of them say, I did not realize that this journey of writing this book was
Mhm.
going to be so therapeutic and helpful for me.
Yeah.
Because in order to share the story, you really have to go there
Yeah.
and you have to heal the story so that
Mhm.
you can share
Mhm.
the story in a way that's helpful for people. Because if you don't go through the healing process of your story, you end up using your book, your social media, your stage, if you're speaking, your platforms, all of them, it ends up being your therapy
Mhm.
rather than your impact. So you really have to heal that story to share it in
Wow.
an impactful way.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Wow. So you're so good at what you do. I've been following you for a few years on Facebook.
Oh, thanks.
And then I had a friend who she became a best-selling author through your program. So I think it's amazing what you do. And you've been pretty much everywhere. CNBC, um, what are
Not
some other
CNBC,
places?
ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, entrepreneur.com, HuffPost, Thrive Global, yeah, a lot of them. And it's been an amazing journey,
Wow.
especially, like with being able to share in platforms like yours, and
Yeah.
being able to meet all these amazing people in the world and having them share. Everybody's always compelled to share with me their story and why it's so important to them. And like I said, everybody is such a heart-centered entrepreneur. I don't find anybody who wants to do a book with me that
Mhm.
is just like, I want to do it for all the money and I want to, and that is what makes it so, so nice for
Yeah.
me, that the words that I share with people when I market, and you have to find those words, right? In any kind of marketing, right? It's legacy, it's impact, it's helping people, it's
Mhm.
worldwide reach, it's things like that. Since you've been following me for so many years, you know that I don't coach and say, like I do sometimes,
Mhm.
but for the most part, I don't say, hit your 10K months, make your six figure,
Right, right.
big
Like a lot of
months, buy
coaches.
your dream home. And, it's not like that. Yeah, a lot of my people have been on TEDx, have been seen on plenty of media, have been featured on TV, have sold out retreats, have increased their prices. They have programs that are amazing to help the world,
Yeah.
but none of them are like, I'm writing this book because I think I'm going to become a millionaire as an author.
Mhm.
They're all from that angle of, I want to impact the world. I want my time here to have meaning. I want to look back on life and say, you know what? I did everything that I could, and I did what I was sent here to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It's that
definitely is.
fulfillment, it's feel like you have a cause, you have a purpose, you have a mission. And it's like
Exactly.
you're fulfilling that mission and it's not money driven.
Yeah.
Because to me it's more genuine and more authentic when your heart is in it first and it's not just money driven. You know what I mean?
I mean, and we
Money
all
is
have
a
to.
byproduct, right?
Exactly. Like we all have to keep the lights on in the house. We all have to feed the kids, like I don't know why they want to eat so often. It's like, what's for dinner, Mom? I'm like, really? Do you have to eat today? Because I'm really not and so yeah, there's practicality to things like that. And yeah, we want to be
Absolutely.
able to have experiences like going on vacation and traveling and doing fun things with our family and whatever. But when you fulfill that calling in your life, I think the other things just fall into place.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, it's been wonderful having you as a guest, Vickie. How can you be reached? Your website is vickiegould.com.
Yes, VickieGould.com. Just have to spell it correctly. My daughter has a very long name, first name and last name. And she's always like, "You're so lucky." I'm like, "No, that's not true because Vickie spelled 50 zillion ways and so can Gould." And it's VickieGould.com. So I always have to spell it out. You can find me there. Look me up on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, like all of them, and YouTube. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a pleasure. Again, thank you so much for being a guest.
Yes, thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate your knowledge and your experience and your wisdom that you've shared with us today.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to Awakening with Katina Love. Namaste.